Hey, everybody, and welcome to Pastrami Nation Popcorn, the home of movies, TV shows, and more. My name is Nolan Smith, and joining us today is Rebecca Benson
Hello.
and the host of Popcorn, Mr. Kevin Hoskinson.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Kevin.
Yo, 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 that's what I was supposed to say. I messed it up.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Surviving the pandemic, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
Doing pretty good. It's Friday the 13th
Yes.
today. We're recording this. So I mean, so far so good though. Nothing bad. Last day of jury duty. So we're good to go.
Oh, it was a good day.
It's always been a good day for me. Friday the 13th have been notoriously lucky. So,
Have they? My brother was born on Friday the 13th.
yeah, you are born on the 13th. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, the 13th is a lucky day.
And
But yeah,
it's an episode of Popcorn.
What's that?
You get an episode of Popcorn. That's even luckier.
Get an episode of Popcorn, exactly. Today we're going to talk about a few things. We actually have a lot to get to today, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So I really hate to start this on a kind of a bummer note, but there's been, as we know, 2020 has just been the year, just a big mess. You got everything shutting down, COVID and everything, but we've also unfortunately lost quite a few pretty big names when it comes to movies, TV, things like that. So over the last week, we've actually lost. Well, no, it's been about 2 weeks. Lost two of them. A couple weeks ago, we lost the great Sean Connery, who I think a lot of us really appreciated his work. Really liked his work. He obviously played the most iconic James Bond of them all. He's been in classics, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, where he was played Henry Jones Sr., Indy's dad, The Rock, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I mean, he hasn't made a new movie, and I can't even remember what his last movie was, to be honest. I think it was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Was that his last movie? It's very possible.
Let's take a look, because I saw that he actually filmed something or did something that was still in production.
Wow, really?
Before he passed.
Yeah, I know he did some animated movie that came out a couple years ago where he was the voice. He came out of retirement for that movie.
Sir Billy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I had thought. It was Sir Billy. Yeah.
Which I heard was a winner. 2012. Yeah. I think that was the last time we heard of him or heard him in anything, or that he actually actively did anything. So what are, just out of curiosity, what are your guys' favorite Sean Connery movies? What do you guys know him from? What do you guys like?
Well, you kind of already mentioned that. For me, it's The Rock and The Last Crusade, especially The Last Crusade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I agree with The Last Crusade. I mean, to me, that was just such a great movie, and he embodied that. Just everything about him, the mannerisms, the voice, he was, his dad. Like it was so good. The other one's kind of an oddball pick for me because, I'm an odd person. But it would be Dragonheart. And
Dragonheart. Yeah, of course.
I love Dragonheart. It's, he plays Draco the Dragon.
Yeah.
He does the voice of him. And Dennis Quaid is kind of like the lone warrior that gives up on everything and hates dragons, and they come together. And he was amazing. Hearing that voice come out of the dragon, hearing him just get so angry and try to eat Dennis Quaid, you're like, wow, you're good, Sean Connery.
Yeah,
you're amazing. What about you, Kevin?
I think so. I think oddly, no. When did Dragonheart come out? You remember it was early 90s, right?
I have a page right here. I can tell you right now. I was just looking at the poster. 1996.
Yeah, it was 1996. So obviously I had known of him before, but Dragonheart really kind of cemented who he was for me, even though Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade is definitely my favorite performance of his.
Of course.
Because exactly the reasons you laid out. Is just a perfect movie from beginning to end. To me, it's honestly, in my personal opinion, it's actually my favorite Spielberg movie too, because he has all of his sensibilities are in that one movie. It has the action adventure, just really fun and really great, and Sean Connery was just the perfect choice to play Indy's dad. Like you couldn't, I can't think of another actor who could have done it any
Right.
better. So yeah, and honestly, I'm a decent James Bond fan, but I know him as like James Bond. Like he's always the most iconic one, the one on number one on everyone's list and everything. But yeah, so of course I know him from James Bond and everything. But honestly, I mean, might be blasphemy to some, but he's not my favorite James Bond.
I was about to say that. Growing
Yeah.
up, I played, N64, GoldenEye.
Yeah,
Pierce Brosnan was my 007,
Yeah.
like with his polygon face and everything. That's how the N64 was. But like that, to me, that was James Bond. And you look at Daniel Craig now, and Daniel Craig's a great actor. But like, just because that's who I grew up with, he'll always be. And I look back at the Sean Connery ones, and you're like, oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. Like I grew up actually watching a lot of the James Bond movies. So like the Roger Moore James Bond during like the 80s. So that's not who I knew as James Bond per se, but like that's who kind of I grew up with. But then Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig. I think, in my opinion, I really love Craig. I think he's a great James Bond. But I do think that Pierce Brosnan kind of was more my James Bond too. Like he just embodied everything about who James Bond was, and it made me interested in the character.
Suave kind of spy, but I don't think we can argue that, Sean Connery definitely had the most iconic voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he had the most iconic voice.
Easily, you can hear him saying, Bond, James Bond. You're like, that's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Well, every time, and when people, do that Bond, James Bond thing, a lot of it is inflected with that Sean Connery, dialect, the Scottish accent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's definitely the most iconic. He's the one that a lot of people think of when they think of Bond. So yeah, it's a big legacy. And of course, it's a huge legacy. And I was just about to mention, just real quick, The Rock. The Rock is just one of the all-time, like Michael Bay at his like prime. Like that's like Michael Bay perfection right there.
Yeah.
Before he what?
Murdered the Transformers.
Yeah, before he murdered the Transformers, before he murdered, produced the new Ninja Turtles, before he destroyed our childhoods.
Yeah.
Right?
Terrific movie. Absolutely.
Oh, The Rock, yeah. Some Nicolas Cage, being like Nicolas Cage. Come on. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's also a fantastic movie. So yeah, rest in peace, Sean Connery. And unless you guys have anything else to say, we'll go ahead and move along. And we'd also like to know what you guys think about, what's your favorite Sean Connery performance? Who's your favorite James Bond? So why not? Leave a comment and we'll let you know.
Right. And the only thing I'll add, the man had such a long career. I'm looking at his IMDb page, in 1954. Mm-hmm. Was when he had he was an extra in a crowd, and then he was a policeman in Simon, and he just, what a career!
Yeah,
you never really think about you're going to lose these people, because he's been kind of that elderly statesman kind of guy for so long. Like I really didn't even know how old he was because he always played the part. Yeah. So he just spans so many so many years and years, and so many people will know him from so many things, and just reiterate that rest in peace, Sean Connery.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge loss, but again, it's 2020.
Yep.
What else to expect? So speaking of unfortunate people we have lost as well, let's move on to the TV side of things. People have known this guy. They grew up with this guy. I know I did. I know I'm for sure you guys did too. Like, of course, we're talking about Mr. Alex Trebek, who sadly passed away about a couple days ago, actually. Not very. Yeah. He was the host of Jeopardy for 30 years, 40 years.
I can remember. Yeah.
40. I think it was like 40, 45 years. Those are some, it's a huge loss to a lot of people, because Jeopardy is definitely one of those things that is it's like a tradition in people's houses. Like, like people make the joke, like, they're watching Jeopardy or they're watching Wheel of Fortune or whatever, but truly is like, you go visit your grandparents, your parents, whoever, like watching
Everybody
Jeopardy.
And he was a
Yeah.
staple. Trebek had been there for so long, and when he got sick, I won't believe it was a year and a half ago, and when he came out public with it, like it was already in the worst stage, and he kept working, and he kept going as much as he could. He took breaks in the last few months, but he kept coming back. Like, it's what he loved, it's what he enjoyed, and I mean, you got to give the guy so much credit for that, because he had to be in so much pain, but that's what he loved to do. He loved to be there with the people, with the contestants, with the audience, and it's just what a loss,
Yeah, and it's when it comes to more the logistical side of things, how they're going to continue Jeopardy.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to. I mean, supposedly his last episode airs on Christmas Day, December 25th. But there's been a bunch of articles, a bunch of people, speculating on who the next host will be.
Petitions. Yeah.
What's that?
There's petitions for it too.
Yeah, there's petitions for it. There's those names on those lists are pretty incredible too. I mean, I can't say that you'll be able to easily fill the shoes, because you can't.
Right.
But
should they even continue filming?
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of my initial response. Is like, does Jeopardy still exist without Alex Trebek?
Right. That's a good question. I don't think it does, particularly in obviously the same form that we know it as. I think Jeopardy is such an important show too, because, like we said earlier, like everyone can watch it. It's one of those shows that's the whole family can legitimately watch, and it's educational too. Like, whether or not like you really, I feel like that's important. So I don't feel like they'll stop doing it because of that to an extent. I mean, what other primetime program can you and your family watch that's entertaining, that's also educational?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. There's always one question that at least one person in the family is going to know. Like, none of us are going to know all of them, but I will know movie ones, and we have people that will know historical ones.
Right. It's an institution. I mean, it's just like when Bob Barker left Wheel of Fortune. It's like they replaced him with Drew Carey or whatnot. So I think the same thing's going to happen here. Who they're going to do it with, I don't know. But there have been, so there has been quite a few odds. My personal choice, so you got Ken Jennings, who was obviously the champion for, I don't know how many episodes of it that he was the champion on. That's his name, right? Ken Jennings, I believe. And LeVar Burton is my personal pick. I think he's the one I'd want, or Neil deGrasse Tyson. One of those three. Those are my top three picks. I can't pick one. I think Neil deGrasse, I think Tyson or LeVar Burton would be my personal picks. But
LeVar Burton, what was he on?
Reading Rainbow. Yeah, man. Reading Rainbow.
Pick.
Yeah.
Right? I think I loved Reading Rainbow, and I love that he's kept it going. Like we've
seen Star Trek.
That's right, yeah. And he's had crowdfunding projects to keep it going, and we all remember Reading Rainbow. So why not grow up to the Jeopardy league? It would be a different Jeopardy. What about?
All right, for male, I said George Stephanopoulos, and for female, Katie Couric, because they're both journalists and news anchors, and they're very straightforward, very neutral as far as facial expressions go, and
very professional. Because another name that popped up you mentioned was Ryan Seacrest,
right?
And Ryan Seacrest, I think he's a great guy. He's a great host, just not for Jeopardy.
No, I don't think he'd be good for Jeopardy. But either one of those, George Stephanopoulos, right, and Katie Couric, I think either one of them would be fantastic too, because like you said, they are an institution in themselves. Like especially Katie Couric. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them either. So,
right.
I don't know. Guess we'll see. I guess they're actually, they're betting on the odds and everything. And
time to go to Vegas.
Time to go. Right. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So yeah, very sad, tragic news coming out of Hollywood as of late. So yeah, let's talk. Oh yeah, if you guys have any, who would you guys like to see replace Trebek in Jeopardy? Please let us know. Leave a comment or read it, and we always appreciate all the feedback, all the comments, everything. So please don't hesitate to do that. So those are kind of our big topics that we want to get out of the way. So right now, a bunch of stuff has dropped over the past week, a bunch of little kernels that we're going to be talking about. So let's move on to Pastrami Nation Popcorn kernels.
We have a lot.
We do have a lot. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of them. What are you kind of noticed over the last week or so that you wanted to talk about?
Well, you know what, the big one for me personally, and it was just today, and it's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion trailer.
Yes.
I mean, we actually just watched it right before we jumped on here, and if there's anything that'll make your day, it is that trailer. Mm-hmm. It's just full of heart, it's full of soul, and if you grew up watching the show, like there's no way you could not watch it. It's you love Will and Carlton and all of them, and you miss Uncle Phil, and I was just absolutely loving it. And the clips that they decided to choose to show the show, when Will's dad abandoned him again, Uncle Phil takes him into his arms, and you're like,
yeah, it was such a good trailer, so well put together. Got me really excited and pumped for it. Grew up watching Fresh Prince, like it was a huge staple in our house, And it's so weird because my son, he's watching it right now, and he's loving it, absolutely loving it. And he saw the trailer for the reunion special, and he got really excited too. He thought it was really cool.
What would be your favorite episode?
My favorite episode, gosh, man, it's been.
Do you want me to go first? I already have it in my head.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I mean, it's not one of the more traditional, favorite ones. It's when Will and Carlton got held up at gunpoint.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Will takes the bullet, and Carlton goes and gets the gun, and he's at the hospital, and Will is emotionally yelling at him to give me the gun, and you owe me.
I remember that one.
It was such a powerful
really
one.
Good.
It ends with him with the gun in his hand, in the hospital, and you're like, wow. And of all people, Carlton was going down that dark path.
That was a really, really intense episode. I remember, I do remember watching that one when I was a little kid. Not little, but I think
old enough to remember.
Old enough to remember, and thinking this got dark.
Yep.
Really dark.
And they did a few of those, right? A few of those episodes.
Oh, yeah.
One of the ones that still sticks with me to this day is when Carlton and Will are held up by a police officer because the police officer thought that they stole that Mercedes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that message still transcends into our society today.
Yeah.
So it is a timeless message.
Yeah.
It was such a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he confronts those cops and he's like, "Did you call their lawyer?" "No, because I'm their lawyer." And he just Uncle filled it. You're like, oh,
he did. And and that goes along the lines of my favorite ones. Good thing you mentioned it earlier, but the one when his dad comes back,
big one.
Yeah, that just the emotion that he showed in that episode was just unbelievable. I think that was, like in the trailer they were talking about, when he hugged him and he was like, no, that's acting. I think a lot of people realize it's those moments in that show that really showed what Will Smith was all about.
Right.
He did the dark and heavy ones, and he did the really comedic, just, crazy ones, just where he was having fun. And I think that really showed, the world who he was and what he was capable of. And then
you picked a really good episode. I mean, especially when he's like, "See you later, Lou."
Yeah,
you call that. You're like, ooh.
How can you not just get I don't know, it's that
it hits.
It hits.
If you grew up without that father figure,
right?
You feel for Will, because that's what he wanted. And Will Smith and James Avery nailed that scene.
Absolutely.
Both of them. Like, it took both for that chemistry. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize this till fairly recently that James Avery was the voice of Shredder.
Yes, he was.
Like, that's insane to me. That like blew my mind when I first heard it. I think I first learned about it maybe like 2 years ago or something, and I was like, just blew my mind.
Then when I found out, I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Uncle Phil.
Yeah, I told my son too, and he was like, "What? No." It's like, "Yes."
The Shredder. No.
Yeah. Oh, he flat out. He was like, "No." I was like, "Yes, yes." Very much so. But yeah, we look forward to that. That's coming out next
Thanksgiving week.
What's that?
November 19th? Oh, there we go. HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO Max, November 19th. It looks excellent. And they got the original Aunt Viv.
Yes.
Which was a cool end to that trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's, I mean, obviously you guys know the whole drama and everything that went down there and everything. Like it was bad. They didn't talk. I think this is the first time they've ever talked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, you got to, mend those bridges and hope they're doing good now. And
maybe with, James Avery's passing, that kind of, pushes it, like life's too short. You got to,
absolutely.
You do gotta bridges.
Right.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a show that I still have not gotten around to watching both seasons of, even though they exist on Netflix. I know. Okay, let's just slow down. Slow down. The Umbrella Academy. Let's talk about the Umbrella Academy. It's been renewed for season 3, and I feel like a very, very bad My Chemical Romance fan.
And
because I have not watched this show yet. I love My Chemical Romance. Gerard Way's one of my, just such a good writer, such a good performer. He's just like, he's that guy that's in the zone every time. But I have not watched Umbrella Academy.
Did you read the comics? Did you read the comics at all?
I did. I didn't read all the comics. I read like the first 5 or 6 issues. I just haven't gotten through them all yet.
Okay, so a little background then, without spoilers.
Please.
Umbrella Academy is about this good amount of kids that are all born on the same day from not necessarily people that have been pregnant, all born and all have powers.
Mm-hmm.
And this Professor Hargreaves, goes around and gathers up a little group of them as kids, and he raises them as the Umbrella Academy, who go out there and kind of fight evil, fight the unknown. In the very first issue of Umbrella Academy, they're fighting a possessed Eiffel Tower, which I always thought was super cool. But you fast forward to the future, and you get to see how screwed up they became as adults, and I think that's where the key is. Because you have number 1, number 2, number 3, all their numbers, but they did not grow up to be good adults. Like
well
they have
adjusted.
They have father issues. They have issues just being around other people, and you get to see how they try to coexist in stopping the apocalypse from happening. And without any giving away any spoilers, the way season 2 ended is the way a hardcover, the collection for volume 3.
That's cool.
So right now, if you read the comics and you watch the show, you are on level playing field. You don't
really?
Next. Yeah.
Oh, so it's caught up with the books that are out. It's just
it's caught up, but it's skipped around.
Right.
But I won't give any spoilers. I know both Rebecca and I have watched it, and the ending was quite great.
That's awesome.
We all, if you when you do watch it, and please leave a comment who your favorite character is of Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
Mine's Ben, but who yours?
Well, I don't know.
Well, not Ben?
No,
number 1. But leave a comment. Let us know, because things will be changing in season 3. I'm just happy to see it renewed, because they took a while. They didn't right off the bat say like, "Oh, coming soon in season 3." It was just kind of like, we hope we get the chance, and now we know.
That's awesome.
It's coming. Goes into production in January. So
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for it, even though I haven't seen it yet. Like, I am truly excited to be able to binge 3 seasons of it. When I did
seasons. Do not binge 3.
I did watch the first episode. We did watch the first episode, and it wasn't like we really liked it. We just never got around to just continuing it, which often happens in our house.
Me and The Witcher, I loved the first episode of The Witcher, very dark and whatnot, but I haven't got around to watching anything else on it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like we keep meaning to, but it's like we've talked about this before. It's just there's so much content that's like, see, like the new stuff. Like I still need to watch like Lock and Key, which I really want to watch.
Bly Manor.
And Bly Manor. I really want to watch Bly Manor, and I know I love Umbrella Academy. Like the whole cast is just incredible. Like I love the cast. I love everyone in it, and like I said, I love the creative team behind it. I just got to get on it. So I will get on it.
Great, yeah. And let me just say, number 5 is my second favorite. That little man. Yes, he's
nice. Good, nice. Well, yeah. Let us know what you guys think of Umbrella Academy. You guys excited for season 3? Let us know in the comments. We'll go.
Well, speaking of hopefuls and comic books being made into film, how about potential for Constantine number 2?
Yes.
Right. News dropped today, and you know who it came from? It came from Lucifer.
Lucifer himself.
Right.
Yeah. He tweeted himself in his Lucifer, in his whole getup from Constantine, and what do you say? It's happening.
In the works.
In the works. It's in the works.
It's been long rumored that it was in the works.
Let's hope they
yeah.
keep it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I think it would be great.
Yeah, that was definitely to me the best version we have had of Constantine, and we've had. You've had the animated one, you've had the CW Constantine, which he was really good, but you have Keanu Reeves. And I mean, there's so many quotable things from that movie. I mean, if my brother was here, he'd be like, John Constantine, asshole. Because there's so many so many quotables in there. And I loved it. The brass knuckle with the crosses on it, and it was amazing. It was one of the best underrated DC movies you will ever see.
Yeah, I think it was highly underrated. I just watched it again a couple weeks ago, and I loved it.
Me too.
Still,
yeah,
like it's great. It's great. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope it's happening. It seems like Keanu's been on a roll with making things happen lately with Bill and Ted 3. Well, there's another Matrix coming, in the works right now in production, which I know, Nolan, you're really excited about.
I've never seen a movie, in case anybody's wondering, ever.
Just watch the first one. That's all I'll say. The second two, I mean, they're worth the watch.
Have you seen them? Oh,
The truth is out.
Have you seen them?
No.
What? Neither one. I didn't watch Umbrella Academy though, so we're on the right. We're on the right with a
I'm pretty sure we're a little worse on that. I mean, we didn't see one of the biggest movies to come out in I mean, yeah, and I don't know why either. It just never happened.
Now the problem is now, like if you go to watch them for the first time now, like it's not. What's that?
Does it not age well?
A lot of so you got to remember, a lot of the computer stuff was revolutionary for the time. Like it changed the way, like you saw that bullet time and everything after that movie came out. Like it was so influential. Watching it now, it looks like a video game. Like it looks like you're playing these characters in a video game.
It's still Keanu.
It's still
Keanu, and it's still highly watchable. I think all three. So the first one's really good. Second one is good. The third one just gets really convoluted. It just gets you're talking about not just the Matrix itself, but I mean, you guys know the premise of the Matrix, I'm sure.
I've heard. I used to work at a DVD store. I used to have to try to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Matrix. If you're in the Matrix, you're in our world. The real world, you're plugged in to this thing and whatnot. Yeah. But part 3 just kind of gets really kind of convoluted and confusing, and it's not a spoiler to say that half of the movie doesn't even take place in the Matrix. So it's just kind of this battle for the Matrix, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool tip off, a cool ending to the whole thing. But I don't know, check it out.
I still got to see the first one. I agree. I need to see the first.
Go watch them. I think I think they're each only what 2.5 hours long, maybe 3. I don't know. Not too much. No, you guys definitely should. I mean, I'd recommend it. We can have a Matrix episode where we just talk about the Matrix.
And then if we don't see it, we're just gonna be like,
or we could rent out an AMC theater.
oh, that's right, or a Cinemark.
Yeah. See,
that would be cool. That'd be cool. We can record our live reactions.
There you go.
Pandemic party.
Ooh, I like
Pandemic party. That would be awesome. Well, yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think of Constantine 2. You guys excited for it? What would you guys like to see in it? Let us know in the comments. Okay, good to go. Speaking of DC, we got to talk about Wonder Woman a little bit. I know we've been talking about Wonder Woman for a good year now. Like it was supposed to come out last November, then it was supposed to come out in the summer, and now it's kind of floating. The planned date for it is the end of December, if I'm not mistaken. So now news dropped that Warner Brothers is kind of playing with an idea, which would kind of make sense in our weird pandemic times. But they're talking about releasing it in theaters on its release date in December, and then shortly after in January putting it on HBO Max, or just scrapping the release date altogether and just pushing it back till whenever theaters open again. What do you guys think about that? What would you guys do? You guys want to watch it on HBO Max? I mean, you guys might be able to go see it at theater. I mean, you guys.
Right. That's choice number one, definitely.
Yeah.
And I like that idea of release it in theaters, but then shortly after put on HBO Max for those that maybe they don't want a chance going to a theater.
Right.
But still like,
willing to pay.
Right. Still put it out there. The option I do not like whatsoever is scrap it and push it back to 2021. Like I can see them push it this summer.
Right.
And we talked about it beforehand. Like this already, all these other movies still in production.
Yeah.
Like they're going to flog Hollywood. And
a lot. It's gonna get crazy. I'm on two minds about the whole thing. So number one, I would love for it to just be released already so we can see it. Like you said, the people who can go to the theater or are comfortable going to the theater can go to the theater. And then it'll show on HBO Max. The problem is obviously things are shutting down again because of COVID and everything. So I don't think the people that aren't going to theaters, I think a lot of them just don't have access to going to the theaters right now, so I don't think it's a choice of staying safe or, not wanting to go. I think a lot of it is there's no access to it.
Right.
I think if you wait till obviously everything's better, theaters are open again, a lot of people will feel safer. I want to see it at theaters. I want to see everything at theaters. So it's like I am willing to wait, but I don't want to wait till next Christmas.
Right.
And it's like at the rate things are going, like I kind of just want them to do it this Christmas, release it, do it HBO Max, because let's be honest, I have my fingers crossed 2021 is going to be a better year, but they're already pushing cons back next year until like winter and stuff, the fall. Yeah. So I think HBO Max is honestly the way to go. Just get their theatrical run out of the way, like their 2 weeks or whatever that they're obligated to do, and then just release it. Agreed. HBO Max. I mean, we'll see what happens. Everything's getting pushed back till next year. Like you were saying, there's so much stuff in production right now that it's definitely creating this. If let's say summer 2021, everything goes back to normal. Let's say everything's fine, COVID disappears, movie theaters are open, life is back to normal. Where are they going to put all these movies?
Right.
Like
they'll keep pushing them back, like what Marvel's been doing, like Eternals and Thor. What was it? Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Every time another thing gets pushed back, everything gets pushed back. I think their movies are in 2023 now. Like they've been pushing Marvel movies back too. Like I just want to see them. I just want to see this, and you could go the route of Bill and Ted. Offer it. You can pay the $20 to buy it digitally, and I did. and we saw it at the drive-in too. But
Yeah.
it's nice to have that option that we could just buy it and watch it whenever, and we're still supporting the studio.
Right. I think what's going to happen though, if they did do that, the premium prices are going to go up. So I think for like something like Wonder Woman right now, if they were just to like release it today on video on demand for rental or for purchase, I think the way the studio systems work and everything and try to get their money back, they're going to be charging $50, $60 for early access to the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think, it's fair. Like, it's like if you have like 5 or 6 people, you can just pitch in and just, rent it for a night or whatever,
Right.
But I think the model you mentioned is the right way to go, especially right now. Just release it at theaters, release it on, and if you just don't want to go to the theater, then you're going to pay $50 to watch it at home. And I know people are willing to do that right now. So
yeah,
we will see what happens.
What do you think is going to happen with WandaVision?
Oh, she got him right when he took it.
Good thing you brought that up. It's got an official release date now from Disney, January 15th. So that will make 2020 the first full year that we haven't had anything MCU related in the past 10, 11 years.
Right.
Yeah, so there hasn't been anything MCU coming out. This summer, as you guys all knew, like Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out, the TV series for Disney Plus. WandaVision was supposed to come out. What's that?
It looks good from everything we've seen about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. How much art have we seen? How much photos have we seen? For me, it looks different, but it pays tribute to the old comics.
It pays tribute to the old comics, and they even filmed they filmed the first episode in front of an actual live audience, which I thought was super cool. Like, really obviously cool. You don't see that anymore, really. And I think WandaVision looks incredible, and I'm excited to see it. It's definitely different. It's definitely, I like that they're giving the characters their own person, like their movies are getting their own personalities. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I don't mean to bash on them, but DC does this thing where everything has to be dark. A few exceptions, Shazam, Aquaman, but even those like Wonder Woman, for example. Wonder Woman's another one, but Wonder Woman, for example, it was good up until like the third act, and then the third act suddenly was like this dark DC Armageddon type scenario, and you're just like, and it's just like, but I like that Marvel kind of lets their characters breathe a little bit more, if that makes sense, and lets them their personality really shines through in their shows, and in their films and their shows. So I think, WandaVision looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
You brought up a good point, and it's something we haven't talked about, but I'm going to bring it up. So you're right. There hasn't been an MCU movie in the year. You know what we did get? We got Bloodshot. And did you know that Bloodshot is already being eyed for a sequel?
I saw that.
Yeah. I saw that. Wow. Who wants that? They said it performed very well digitally. And I'm thinking because everybody was bored and we thought we were going to die because it was COVID. And then afterwards, we want to die because it's
I haven't watched it yet. I think it's on Hulu or it's on like Stars or something like that. And I was thinking about watching it just to see it.
As a friend, I'm telling you shouldn't. But as a movie person, you should. So that way you can help bash it with me. Because oh boy.
I need to watch it really bad. I was hearing something about an elevator or something. Yeah, like that's all.
Elevators. How he gets his trademark like white skin that he has because Bloodshot's like white.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Oh,
I will watch it.
I'm a fan, and I was like, dear God, no. Right before the pandemic hit, that is the last movie I saw in theaters.
Well, yeah, I think they came out around that time, didn't it? It like freaking came out.
Paused it probably. Yeah.
I saw that they greenlit it for a sequel, and I was like, "Who is this for?" Everyone I know that saw it did not like it.
I know one person that saw it and liked it. One.
Really?
One. And I don't know. he was probably drunk or something, because my brother, who will always say, like, even if you bought the ticket, he'll be like, "Oh, well, that movie was okay. Yeah, that wasn't too bad," because he bought the ticket. We got out, and he was like, "That was garbage. Like, I wanted to fall asleep." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was." Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, that's
popcorn.
fine. No, that's totally fine. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, man. Like all these like movies are getting sequels that don't deserve sequels, and that's just going to get me on my Hellboy rant. But I'm not going to get on my Hellboy rant.
That's for another episode.
That's another episode. But we do need a third Guillermo del Toro Hellboy rant, or Hellboy movie.
Yes,
I watched. I watched the David Harbour, and I just was like, I didn't.
See, for me, it was okay, but the magic wasn't there.
Exactly, and that's
helped in the first two.
Yeah, that's what it was missing. It was just like it pulled the DC thing. It was like we just have to be dark and gritty, which I understand. Hellboy is a dark, gritty world. Yeah, I mean it is that way, but I don't know. Like Del Toro brought something totally unique to it, and we need that back. So yeah,
episode coming soon. Kevin's Hellboy rant episode.
Dude, we will. I like that. Like we could just put it on the bottom there.
Yeah,
Hellboy rant alerts.
I won't do
this
it.
This thing's going to be so much fun. This thing's going to be great. I love it already. But yeah, I think that about cover. Oh,
we have
let's talk about
2 movies.
Yes, let's talk about the 2 movies that are being released this week. So they're both releasing at theaters, but they're doing a 14-day window. Then they're coming to video on demand. But they are in theaters now. I believe they're in drive-ins too. The first one is the Mel Gibson starring Fat Man. He plays Santa Claus, and a little kid.
I didn't know that when I watched the trailer, and then I saw that, and I was like, "Oh dear God!"
Yes, so it does seem like a really, really bad Saturday Night Live sketch come to life, like a fake trailer. Now,
I was excited at first. I was like, "Yeah, an action-packed movie."
What part got
All
you?
right, until you open that gift.
Yep, that's the part. You open the gift, you saw the code, and you're like, "Crap."
Walter Goggins, right? Walter Goggins, I believe his name is, the guy who plays, he's amazing. And Mel Gibson's amazing.
Of course, yeah. No argument.
So, I've been reading early reviews on it, and the common consensus says it's good. Like, it's fun. Like, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. Like, it's one of those movies they said, it's not like it's for its ridiculous premise. It's actually, it plays it straight, oddly enough, but it's played for laughs too. I know, right?
It plays it straight. It's like a revenge Santa movie.
So in 2 weeks, since it will be around Christmas time and everything, I suggest a Fat Man watch party.
Okay.
All of us, and we will discuss it. See what we think. Talk about it.
Do that. Yeah.
Will it be a Christmas classic? Will it be a
bah humbug?
A ball humbug? Who knows? We'll let you guys know, though. We'll get that set up, and that is actually going to happen. I just called it out right now.
I'm okay with it. Are you okay?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Fat Man, and we're gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna discuss it. We're gonna tear it apart, and it cannot be any worse than Hubie Halloween.
No, that's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be this holiday season's Hubie Halloween.
It could be. So we'll see how that goes. But the one I am legitimately really, really excited for is Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. It's a Blumhouse movie directed by his last name is Landon, and he's going to hate me because I don't remember his first name. But he directed the Happy Death Day movies. He's been a writer on Paranormal Activity. And the Happy Death Day movies are 2 of my favorite horror movies that have been out in the last few years. So in body swap comedy or horror slasher comedy, horror It's a horror-y, exactly, a horror-y. Vince Vaughn's character, his body gets swapped into Catherine Newton, who's a teenage high schooler. Their bodies get swapped. Vince Vaughn's a serial killer. She becomes a serial killer. So yeah, it looks like it's got some fun kind of Scream and Happy Death Day vibes, and I'm really excited for it. So that'll be coming out in 2 weeks as well to video on demand. Yeah, so that'd be fun. Go check it out if you guys have theaters available this weekend. And
we don't.
What's that?
If you do, California does not. If you
do, yeah, California, Oregon has some, but none that are playing freaky, unfortunately, because I've been looking and none. So yeah, let us know what you guys are excited for this weekend. What are you guys watching this weekend? Yeah, let us know in the comments. And yeah, so did you guys have anything else that you guys wanted to talk about or bring up, or yeah?
I don't. I think we covered quite a bit of, the pop culture world. So much happened this week, especially today.
Today. Oh, they even brought up the news of a Darkwing Duck reboot.
I'm okay with that.
That dropped, and I'm totally okay with that. It's being produced by Seth Rogen and his guys, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for watching, listening, wherever you're getting this podcast. Make sure to visit pastramination.com for news, reviews, and more. And yeah, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm pretty sure you could find us. So yeah. Nolan, Rebecca, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Bye.